Hi everyone, it's Sheehan here, founder of The Feminine Rhythm, where I help women increase their personal presence, vocal power, and feminine energy so that they can walk into any room and feel confident and comfortable no matter how chaotic their life is, no matter if your boyfriend just dumped you, or you just broke up with your boyfriend, or you just lost your job, or something crazy is going on at work. There are just those times that we all have when we feel like our lives are falling apart. And the work that I do really helps women feel the calm in the middle of the storm, feel grounded and able to connect to what do I really want and how can I feel joyful and blissful while I go through that. And what I want to share with you today is a little secret about why the work that I teach around connecting to your sexual essence is so integral in order for you to really create the life and career and relationship that you want. And it's really, really powerful, and it's not something that's being taught by a lot of other people, and a lot of people are missing this key step, so I want to share it with you. So I want to share with you a little bit about my story of how I got into this work. And in high school, I considered myself very much an introvert. I was very shy, very socially awkward, totally uncomfortable in my body, and coupled that with what I consider very severe perfectionism. Growing up in the dancer's world, I put so much pressure on myself to be perfect, to have perfect grades, perfect hair, the perfect boyfriend, the perfect job, everything. And all of that just went in this huge bucket and resulted in an eating disorder when I was in high school. And it was a very dark time in my life. I was throwing up all my meals. I was totally in, not accepting my body, not accepting myself. I didn't want to have any attention. I always say the introvert's mantra is, I don't want to be the center of attention. I was the queen of that. But inside, I desperately wanted attention. I desperately wanted people to love me and like me. And maybe some of you can relate to that feeling of not wanting to be seen, but wanting attention really underneath it all. It's very, very common, and I know it happens to me all the time still, and I see it in all of my clients and lots of my friends. And so after I recovered from this eating disorder, it was a pretty great recovery. I went to college, and I had all of the thoughts and the beliefs and all of the remnants of that pattern still in me, even though I wasn't expressing it through an eating disorder. And I never really quite felt very confident or comfortable with myself or in my body. And it wasn't until I started doing the Art of Feminine Presence classes 6 or 7 years after all of this happened that I really connected with something that changed my life forever. And that was the pleasure and power of my body, of my feminine essence, my sexual essence, and my body, because the only way to access your sexual essence is through your body. And when I started doing the Art of Feminine Presence classes 2.5 years ago with Rachel Jane Gruber, it only took the first 5 series of classes for me to completely shift my entire outlook of my purpose in my life, what I wanted to do, how I felt about being a woman and being powerful. And I had this place where I could receive attention and I could be witnessed in a healthy way by other women in the way that I was so longing for when I was in high school. And I just want to tell you that being seen is so, so powerful. And even just the thought, the idea of it's okay to be seen can be so life-changing. And in fact, one of my students from this last series, after our first class, that's what we talked about. And she texted me 3 days later and was so excited, and she said, whatever you said about being seen just struck this huge chord in me. And I can tell such a big difference in my own presence, in my feminine presence. Men are noticing me like crazy. I just met this new guy. And I just feel like it's all because I opened up to it's okay to be seen, and I didn't realize that I didn't want to be seen before. I didn't realize that I was hiding away in this ball, not wanting people to see me. And with my goals for her, she wants to have this big jewelry business and this really great thing happen in her life where she can help other and empower other women. And she was like, how was I going to do that without being seen? And so this is really, really important work. And I want to share with you why your sexual essence is so key. And then I'm going to share with you a tool that you can do right now as I teach you that's really going to help you feel that sense of power and enjoyment that I was talking about in my story. So here is what I wrote down for you. It's something I've been seeing a lot of experts teaching lately, and it's this thing that so that they can prove to you why it's important to work on your mindset, because it is. It's so important. And what they say is, okay, here's why, it's not new agey, it's not some woo-woo thing, this is real, this is why, because your beliefs influence your thoughts, influence your actions, which influence the results that you get in life, and then those results go back and reinforce the beliefs that you have, and it just keeps going on in a cycle. So that's why it's really important to look at, what do you believe? If you feel like you're stuck getting somewhere, to look at what do I believe about this situation? How is that influencing this cycle? Now, this is all true. I have experienced this to be true many, many times in my life, but there's a big, big piece that this is not covering. And if you've ever seen somebody or been somebody who just read The Secret and started doing affirmations and then not taking action, you know about this. But even there have been many times where I have done my belief work, I've worked on what I'm thinking to myself, and I've even started taking actions that support doing this, that support my new beliefs and my new thoughts. And I never get results. It's like there's a handbrake on and I'm not going anywhere. I get stuck right here. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. I did this work. I worked on my beliefs. I worked on my thoughts. I'm doing the actions and I keep taking action, and you're doing so many actions, you're overwhelmed. But no results come. And I want to tell you the piece that's missing. And I'm going to put it right under here and call it sexual essence. Your sexual essence drives everything. It is at the center of your authentic being, of who you are, what you want, what you're putting out there to the world and attracting back to you. And in fact, your sexual essence is the attractive force of the universe, of your world. And so if you're not connected to it, if it's not on, then you're not attracting things to you as easily or blissfully as you could. And you might not be really listening to your heart's desire, what you really want, and so you can do as many belief, thought, action work as you want, but if your body, because earlier I said your sexual essence, to experience it, to express it, you have to be present in your body. If your body's going, I don't think so. If you're trying to say, I'm an inspirational leader and I empower women online, or if you're trying to say, I have $5,000 a month and for my dream career, and your body's going, no way, you can barely say it without wanting to puke, the results are not going to happen. This is just plain and simple, and this has happened to me many, many times, and I'm sure you can relate. And so what I want to help you do is connect to your sexual essence, and it's really easy. So the tool I have for you is very simple, it's very pleasurable, and it's going to support you in connecting to your sexual essence and being more present in your body so that you can have a more magnetic and vibrant presence when you walk into a room. So what I want you to do is stand up and feel your feet about hip-width apart. Just feel them on the floor. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take your hands and put them on your belly. And I want you to feel with your hands around your hip bones, all the way around, maybe feeling down your gluteus maximus muscles, your butt muscles, feeling towards the front of your thighs, the front of your pelvis, and even feeling the base of your pelvis, where your vagina is, your perineum, and really just doing this with love as you come into the presence in the space of your pelvic bowl. And just notice, I want you to tune into the inner part of your pelvic bowl now. You can leave your hands wherever they feel comfortable and tuning in to the inside of your pelvic bowl and noticing, are you taking up all of your pelvic space? Do you notice your presence in the bottom of your pelvic bowl, the base of your pelvic bowl, on each side at the top? And no need to judge here, just noticing. And now bringing your attention to about 2 to 3 inches below your belly button and seeing a golden dot physically inside your body in the very center of your pelvic bowl. This is your place of feminine power. It is sometimes referred to as Hara Dantian if you've done any Qigong or martial arts. This is a very powerful and strong place. And I want you to breathe in and watch that dot expand into the expanse of your pelvis. And just exhale very naturally and let that dot release and get smaller with your breath. And just breathe like this, expanding into the fullness of your pelvic space. And then breathing out and letting go. And breathing in and expanding. Breathing out and letting go. Coming in a little bit lower now to the base of your pelvic bowl. I want you to imagine a dollop of warm honey at the base of your pelvic bowl. And just imagine that this warm honey is moving around and that you're moving it with your pelvis. Maybe your pelvis rocks back and forth just ever so slightly. Starting to feel some flow, some movement in your pelvic space. Really feeling the juicy presence that is there. Just feeling this, enjoying this. Noticing how much you're willing to be here, how much you're willing to enjoy being in your pelvis and your hips. Letting go of whatever reason it's not safe to be here, it's not okay to be here. Just letting go of that for a moment and just being. Continuing your breath. And for a few moments more, just seeing how much you can enjoy feeling the presence, the powerful presence of your hips, your pelvic bowl, and your feminine sexual essence. And then just slowly still your movement and come open with your eyes open. And just maybe sharing with yourself, like a few feeling words of how that felt, anything you noticed, writing down in your journal anything you noticed. And what my invitation for you is to walk and talk and be with that much presence, taking up all of that space in your pelvis. And notice how differently your world interacts with you, how differently you feel. This is a really, really easy and powerful tool. And I say that it's easy, but you're gonna notice that you want to come out and pop out, come into your thoughts, your to-do list. What do I have to do today? All of that. So if you're in your to-do list and what do I have to do today, you're not in your pelvic bowl. So it's simple, and that's a better word. It's not maybe so easy as we think, but it's very simple and very powerful. So try that when you're with your partner, your children, at work, and let me know how this goes. Let me know if you have any feedback about anything I talked about. And what I really want to let you know is that I teach a series of classes on the art of feminine presence here in Austin, Texas. And my next series is beginning very soon. So make sure you check on this page for when that next series is starting. If you are interested in doing these classes, they're very, very wonderful. They're a 2-hour weekly class. I cap them at 8 women, so they're a small, intimate group. And we do many, many more practices like the one I just showed you, and have many more discussions like this. And the feedback that I receive from women, the thank you letters I get from them and their spouses and their families about how much their whole family has shifted because of this work is just so amazing and really lights me up, and one of the reasons why I love doing this and teaching these classes. So there's a few spaces left in this next series that I'm doing, and I would love to have you join us if you're in the area and you are really wanting to allow yourself to be seen. If you're desperately wanting attention underneath your facade of, I don't want to be the center of attention, or you really just want to feel even more confident or even more present in your life, or have stronger bonds with women, this is a really great opportunity for you. And if you haven't signed up for my email list, make sure you do. There's some really great training there. And remember that it's not just about all of these things. It's not just about changing your thoughts and changing your mindset. If you're not doing the presence work, the body work, to connect to your sexual essence and connect to what your heart desires and make sure everything's in alignment, you're going to feel like you've got that handbrake on. And that it's totally okay not to have it all together, not to know how to do any of this, and just to completely let go and surrender to whatever higher power you believe in, and just let that take you where you need to go.